What's going on, everybody? You know what time it is. It is another week of the Make Money and Have Fun show. And this week, I'm super excited. I'm sitting down with my guest, Woody Woodward. He's an awesome dude. And we're going to be discussing 5 secrets to help you close more deals. So if you want to close more deals in your business, if you want to get more contracts signed and make those sales happen, this is the show that you want to be watching. So I'm super excited. I'm super pumped up. Let's jump right into this.
My motto in life is make money and have fun. I'm on a mission to show everyone how to make money, yeah, and have fun. I'm all about making money and having fun.
That's right. You know what show it is. We're talking about making money and having fun today. And you couldn't see us behind scenes, but we were both kind of rocking out and dancing a little bit back here, having a blast. So let me tell you about my guest today. So Woody Woodward has such a cool story. He's such an amazing guy. I actually met him about 2 years ago in person, and he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And he just came out with something that has really been blowing my mind that we're going to be talking about today. But here's a little background on him. So Woody Woodward dropped out of high school at age 16, and he was a millionaire by 26, and then flat broke by 27. After clawing his way out of financial ruin, he built 4 different multi-million-dollar companies before he turned 40. Through overcoming this adversity, Woody Woodward has become a best-selling author of 42 books about turning tragedy into triumph. He's been interviewed on over 2,500, or he has interviewed over 2,500 people around the world for his research. He's a pioneer and a founder of the Drive sales system, which I'm really excited to be talking about today. And this system helps people identify the 5 buying personalities of their customers, giving them the potential of increasing their sales by, check this out, 400%. And he shared his cutting-edge sales techniques on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, Entrepreneur, and Forbes. So let's put a giant hand together for Mr. Woody Woodward. Get in here. What's going on, man?
Good to see you, Fred. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm so excited to have you on here. This is so cool. I love this show. I get to sit down every week with just some amazing people, some really cool entrepreneurs and investors and people that are just doing awesome stuff. So, Woody, I got to start off. I always ask all my guests the same question. And obviously, as you know, we do have a time limit on today, so you're free to answer this however you like. But let's get the abbreviated version. What is your story?
So the story, and you introduced me with the story, the dropout, the money, the losing it all. I'm going to give you the short version of the story because I don't think my story matters to the listener until I've created value for the listener first. So the short story is I solve problems for everybody. No matter what I go through, the highs, the lows, selling everything we own to travel the world or getting stranded in Florida or whatever the case is, as an entrepreneur, the number one story is solving problems.
I love it. I love that. So I kind of got affiliated with you about 2 years ago or so, and I actually got this from you. You remember this guy?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Man,
right?
That thing's like 12 years old. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I actually dug that up off of my bookshelf, and I'm like, you will love this. This was back around the time, so I'm kind of backtracking us to move us into today, but this was around the time that you were talking about the emotional fingerprint. So is that kind of still a thing of yours? I mean, talk to us about kind of what that was, how that evolved, and what that meant for you in a sense.
So cool. We're actually coming up on the 15-year anniversary of Emotional Fingerprint. So for those who don't know the story, we had been very successful, lost everything, very successful, lost everything. It's just kind of life story we've gone through. And my father-in-law suddenly died, and he was in his prime. He was 56 years old. So we literally sold everything we had to fly up to Utah to take care of my mother-in-law, help the family, bury him, all those things. And I remember it was January 23rd, because I'll never forget it. And I was literally in the car driving down Main Street screaming, like literally screaming at God, like, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do next? Like, come on. And I got home that night and my wife said, I feel really inspired that you need to go to the library and read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Wow. And at that time, I was writing my first book called Millionaire Dropouts. So I was a millionaire dropout and I had read over 1,000, or actually not, I've read over more than 1,000, but I had cataloged and detailed over 1,000. There you go, man. You got all the goods, man. This is fantastic.
I forgot I had this until you mentioned it.
That's so fantastic. So in the back of that book, it shows all these millionaires. So I literally had studied and read the biographies of over thousands of individuals to catalog. And I said to her, I can't read one more thing. Like my brain is going to bleed. Like I'm done. And she said, I'll take the kids. You go, you read that book. Second chapter, first page, left-hand side. There's a quote that changed my life forever. It was by Dr. John Dewey that said the deepest urge in human behavior is the desire to feel important. Now, he'd been dead for 56 years, but I thought, I got to prove this guy wrong. There's no way I want to feel important. So that's how I started interviewing people. Went to the local university, buses, trains, airplanes, no matter where I was, I'd interview people. And I found that everybody had 7 key characteristics that made them feel important. And it's different than what's important to you. So, for example, family can be important to you. Family may not make you feel important. Doesn't mean you don't love your family. Work can be important to you, but work may not make you feel important. So that was the aha of emotional fingerprint, to really identify what drives us, what moves us emotionally, what makes us connect to other people. Then over time, that translated into what I know you're going to bring up later, which is drive sells. We just rebranded it. Yeah, we rebranded it. So what it does is it helps you identify what makes other people feel important. So if you're going to present and sell to them, if you identify what makes them feel important, it's a much easier way to communicate and serve them in the way that you want to.
Yeah, I love that. Because I knew that like you always kind of built archetypes in a sense. That's kind of, at least from my observation of you, always appeared to be like your superpower in a sense, is kind of building out these archetypes. And then when I first heard of Drive, I was like, this is genius. This is just going to be a total, complete game changer. And then I remember something really cool happened. You actually started a Facebook account, and I was like, yes. And you started putting up all this stuff about selling your house and traveling the world. That was like your big thing, I guess almost 2 years ago now, in 2019, that kind of happened with you. And you had all this stuff. You had the big mansion, all the cars, all the fun toys. And you're like, nah, you know what? We're going to just travel the world. I'm going to speak around the country, around the world, and I'm going to write this book. What was that kind of moment like for you? And I guess for your family as well, when you decided to do that?
Well, you're right. It's interesting. It actually happened. We got on the plane the first time a year ago, 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
It was our 1 year anniversary. So it was in 2019 where we were in the house and the cars, like, you know what? Let's just burn it all to the ground. Like, let's literally get rid of everything, travel the world, write the Drive book, update emotional fingerprint to make it more about sales and helping people understand the 5 buying personalities. So we came to Florida. I'm in Florida right now. We came to Florida in January. We hit all the Southern Caribbean islands. And then in March, I was traveling to Australia, came back, and then COVID hit. So here I had this plan, sold all the possessions, everything I'd worked my entire life to achieve, got rid of it. And then I thought, okay, now it's COVID. What am I going to do? Like, I can't go do that dream. Like, I can fund the dream.
Right.
My family's behind me with the dream. And now I can't physically do the dream. Like, it was the weirdest feeling to be in a position to absolutely write the check. Like, I could do whatever I wanted, and now I physically can't do what I want. But what it taught me was solving problems. That's what I do for a living, solve problems. Sure. So I thought, okay, I'm going to write the best book I've ever written. So I've written 42. And I thought, I'm going to take this entire year, and I'm just going to write 16 hours a day. So I literally wrote 16 hours a day. We added 167 pages or 167 pictures. The whole thing's color. Spent a fortune on printing it just because I wanted to write the coolest, best book I possibly could. And the great thing is the family was supportive and they gave me the time to do it. And it's absolutely changed our lives. We went #1 on Amazon, completely organic. Wow. A lot of authors don't understand that you can kind of hijack the system and you can get to that #1 spot. But within 7 days, we hit #1, and I wasn't even trying to sell on Amazon.
That's crazy. Yeah, you can. I mean, I've written 2 books, and I got a 3rd one on the way. So,
congrats.
So thank you. So I know all about kind of hacking the system, launches, that kind of stuff. Even looking into like major bestseller list launches and those sorts of things. But to hit it organically, that's pretty impressive. And honestly, like I said, I kind of I put out a video last week talking about reading this year for 2021. And 2020, I kind of got sideswiped by all of the turn of events, like all of us did, and reading went to the wayside for me. And I'm like, man, I gotta read more in 2021. But somehow, I managed to read your entire book in 2020, just because I think of the things that you said, right? It's got pictures in it, it's colored. You know, I'm a dork. I'm like a 12-year-old kid, so you know, if you put like pop-up pictures and mazes in it, I probably would have read it in half the time.
I was gonna put like coloring in there too, so you can color some stuff.
Exactly. If you send it to me with crayons that coordinate with the colors of the 5 drives, you see, this is like a business idea right here. Let me know if you want to partner on that one.
You got it, buddy. I like it.
I love it. So on that note, we kind of covered book writing, which you've written tons of books, and it's just super fun. I'm right there with you. But let's actually get into Drive sales. What is Drive? How does it work? What is this awesome book of yours all about?
So it works like this. Look at your hand. You got 5 fingers, right? So there's 5 buying personalities. You speak one automatically. Like you automatically are one of the drives. What happens is you're alienating the other 4. And so subconsciously, you're not talking to these 4 buying languages. And that's why most people never close more than 20%. So I call it in the book, it's chapter 3, it's the 20-80 rule. You lose 80% of your sales solely based on the way you present on your drive. Now, here's what's really interesting. If you are only speaking your drive language and you start to speak the other 4 drive languages, that is a 400% increase of the ability to communicate in a way that resonates with your audience. And in fact, I'll show myself I'll show myself as an idiot. Let me put it that way. Hold up the relationships to riches card or box. And then you got to go back to the split screen. Okay, now hold it there. So hold it so everyone can see it. Okay, I'm what's called there you go. Other way there, perfect. So I'm what's called a director. So directors are driven by lifestyle. I made this 12 years ago, 2008. We did an infomercial on this product. If you look at it, it's got the mansions, the cars, the jet skiing, the families, Rodeo Drive. All those pictures are all director based. So I alienated the other 4 drives, not even knowing it. This is all subconscious, and it's called relationships to riches. My second drive is what's called relator. So DRIVE stands for director, relator, intellectual, validator, and executive. So in the picture, I've got families, massage, relationships. So I'm only marketing to my drive. And when I discovered Drive and I put all the case studies together, I looked at my own business. I thought, oh my gosh, this is when I failed. This is when I succeeded. It was when I was applying Drive.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. So here's something funny, and I've been wanting to ask you this forever, and it's the coolest thing to have you here to ask live. So I'm a validator, right? My number 1 is a V. If you can't tell by the show and the fancy lights and all this fun stuff going on, right? I like being admired. However, I also like fancy cars and big houses, and I'm curious if I'm driven to those things not because of the thing itself, but because of the status that it presents of me in that sense.
100%.
Right.
So everything is neutral by nature. A mansion, a Ferrari, those are just neutral. Those are just plastics, carbon fiber, and wood. How we use them is specific to our individual drive. So I'm being a director, like lifestyle. I like nice houses. I'm renting this house. But the house means nothing to me other than the fact that I just like a certain type of lifestyle. Now, as a director, it doesn't mean you like mansions. It means you like lifestyle. So you could live in a camper van and be a director. So as a validator, people may want the high-end houses and cars to get the validation, or they might like high-end clothes or watches, or they want to be validated for the actions that they commit or do, or they might give away all their possessions because they want to be validated for service. Neither one of them is right or wrong, good or bad. How you seek to validate your drive is what is efficient or inefficient. So I don't believe in good or bad. I believe in efficient or inefficient. If you're internal, meaning you validate who you are from the inside out, that is a very efficient way to live because you don't have to look to anybody else to get that recognition. If you're external, meaning you look to the outside world to validate who you are, whether you're a director, a relator, an intellectual, a validator, or an executive, you are going to crash all of the time. So it's a very inefficient way to live.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I love that. So I guess sometimes it's more than just like looking at somebody. So like if you had a client drive up in a Lamborghini, you might instantly think, oh, they're probably a director. But it could be something totally different.
Spot on.
That's
So what I'll do is I'll ask them, tell me about your car. So I call it paying attention to the obvious. I love people who have tattoos, because if you have a tattoo, you physically endured pain to mark your body for a very specific reason. People do not get tattoos unless it means something. So when I'm at the restaurant or the bar and a waiter or waitress comes up and they are all tatted up, I'll say, oh, tell me what's your favorite tattoo. They will talk to you for a half hour. Same thing with a car, a house, a watch, anything that's very specific. If someone dyes their hair a certain color and wears a certain jersey, look for the obvious and then ask them about the obvious. So, hey, beautiful car, tell me about it. What's the reason for it? What's your passion behind the car? Then you'll learn what their drive is. Don't take it as face value. Oh, they must be materialistic, or oh, they want to win, so they're an executive. Not at all. All possessions are neutral. How we use them to get our drive met, that's what matters.
This is amazing stuff. And as you can see, we got a whole bunch of people in the comments here just talking about this is amazing. Everybody's loving it. By the way, if anybody's with us in the comments, you can ask questions as well, right? Type in your questions.
Ask questions. I love questions. Chapter 9 of the book is Ask, Don't Tell. I love questions.
I love that. Do you feel like, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. I'm sure you are as well. And he always talks about questions are the answer to kind of everything. Are you a firm believer in that? I guess mainly when it comes to sales, but in everything else as well?
In absolutely everything. I think the 5 most powerful, and I just had this epiphany this year, especially this year when we've all had a lot of time to think. I believe the 5 most powerful letters in the human language are HOW space TO. How to. That question, like asking that question, how to do this, how to do that, how do I, if you ask, you will find an answer. The worst thing you can do is think you know the answer, because what it means is you're not challenging anything. So you talk about reading books. I read about 200 books a year. I didn't learn to read until I was 19 years old, and then hired my first mentor to teach me how to read. And since then, I haven't stopped reading. When I buy a book, I'm buying a book for one reason: to get information I currently don't have. So as soon as I find that information in that book, I go to the next book. And as an author, and I've been, published with New York publishers, I've owned my own publishing company. The industry works like this. Most books, especially business books, are all 80,000 words. When I got my first 6-figure book deal with a huge New York Times publisher, they said, well, we need 80,000 words. I'm like, what? Why? If I can say what I want to say, in fact, it was the emotional fingerprint book you showed. If I can say what I want to say in 50,000 words, why do I want to waste my reader's time to fill in more words? He's like, well, we got to charge $25. That book has to be 1.5 inches. That's 80,000 words. I'm like, you mean to tell me this whole industry is hacked? Like, you're doing this all for the money? You're not doing it. From that point on, I have never finished a book. I refuse to finish a book because I know they're filling it to make that $20 or $25. Now, when I buy a book, I don't start on chapter 1. I only go to the table of contents. I find the chapter that appeals and applies to me, and I read that chapter. If I really like it, I'll start at the beginning. And of the 200 books that I go through, there are probably only 3, 4, or 5 that I finish because I find them so engaging that I just keep reading it. Amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, for me, it's about, in a sense, using books, not reading books. It's what can I gain from this? Every book that I read, I'm essentially skimming or speed reading to some degree to kind of find that golden nugget and take from it. And the other thing that I think applies to it as well, if we're staying on the topic of reading, is looking at it from your own life. So it's interesting for me because I keep all my books. I have like hard copy books that I like to read. I'm not a big audiobook fan or ebook fan. I like to actually have the physical book. And sometimes I do this thing. You'll love this, by the way. I started off reading my Bible doing this, where I just pick up the book and I just open it. And whatever page I open it to, that's what I read. And it's the weirdest thing because that's usually exactly what I needed at that time.
I do that every time. I do that literally I just boom. Oh, that sounds good. Let's keep going. And I mark my books. None of my books are pristine. I mark the living daylights out of my books. In fact, even have it here, I went to the leather store and made this myself just for fun. So I've got my tabs, I've got my highlighter, and then I have my pen. And I carry this with all my books when I read them. And that way I can mark them up and it's there.
So cool. So cool. Do you, what made you become an author in the first place? What made you start writing and kind of stick with it?
That's a really good question, because I didn't set out to be an author. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but I'm fascinated and addicted to biographies. I literally have read over 5,000 biographies. I read every biography I get my hands on. And I'll make sure I teach you a hack about that in a second. There's a way to read them very, very fast. So with the first book, Millionaire Dropouts, I kept an Excel spreadsheet, and I literally found over 1,000 people, like very prominent people, who have dropped out of elementary school, middle school, or high school. And I thought, you know what? I need to tell these guys, I need to tell their stories. So I wrote not one book. I actually wrote 7 books at one time. Millionaire Dropouts was a whole series. So one is all biographies, 100 biographies. The one that you showed is the first 5 chapters are my story, and then there's 50 biographies after that. So all of them are just I just had so much content. I wanted to catalog it. And that's why I started writing books. And then after that, it's funny. Other than the Drive Sells book and the Emotional Fingerprint book, collectively, the other books I never even market. Like if you go onto Amazon, they're all there. I probably haven't sold 5,000 of those other 40 books collectively. I write them. Wow. I put them out in the marketplace. I never even promote them. I never even tell anyone I wrote a new book. I just throw it out there and I go on to the next one. But with the Drive Sells and the Emotional Fingerprint, those were huge launches. We were in 400,000 stores worldwide. I mean, they were big things. But wow, really, it was just to catalog information.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that as an author myself. My first book, it's 50 pages long. I mean, it might be, I think it's 25,000 words or something like that. But it was the same idea as what you said, is like, I have something to say and I want to say it to a lot of people. So how can I do that? And for me at the time, the medium I chose was through a book. And, a lot of people ask me, like, why is it so small? And I tell people, because it has exactly what you need and nothing else. And that, I think, is one of the most important things to kind of keep in mind with stuff like that. And that was self-published, by the way. No publishing house would have been like, a 50-page book, get out of here.
But you know what's cool? What's cool about that, Fred, is I think everyone should write a book. There is nothing more cathartic and more revelatory than challenging every thought you have. So if you're going to sit there and type about a bunch of words, you got to challenge those words. Do they create value? Are they helping other people? Are they going to benefit society? So when you go through that process, you actually learn so much more. And it has helped me be a better student and philosopher just in the process of writing.
I totally agree. I always tell people teaching is the highest form of learning there is, in my opinion. I was a martial arts instructor for 5 years. And the day I started teaching as a black belt, I was like, holy crap, I don't know anything. Yeah, I'm like, oh, geez. and I just learned so much from doing that.
Let me add to that. My greatest mentor growing up was Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul. So since I didn't know how to read, I started with Chicken Soup for the Soul because the entire story was a page and a half. So I felt like I was successful when I could read a page or page and a half. Right. Fast forward 20 years, I'm in a networking group, mastermind, and I'm sitting next to Jack. And he said one of the coolest things, he said, information is like an island. If you only know this much information, then the circumference around that island is actually very small. So think about ignorance. When people are ignorant on racism, sexism, all those things, their worldview is very small. The more information you get is like an island, the bigger it gets. That means the more circumference you're exposed to, you know less. So all of a sudden, the more you learn about the world, you start to realize, oh my gosh, I really don't know that much information. So you start studying, learning, growing, and that island gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I love that. So we do have a quick question in here. So Nick asked about, you read 200 books a year, but there's a few that you keep coming back to. What are some of those recommendations? What are some of those books that you keep?
I'll give you the book that changed my life this year. Give me 1 second. This book blew my mind. Okay. So I have not made a post about this book. I was thinking about it, not thinking about it, couldn't decide. So I have a relationship of mine that blamed me. Like literally, she burned my relationship to the ground because she blamed me for sending her son this book. And I thought, one, I've never sent your son a book. He asked what I'm reading, and I tell him, oh, you know, the classics, How to Win Friends, all those things. She goes, yeah, but this book was just horrible. I'm like, what's the book title? And it was The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And I thought, I've never even heard of that book. What are you talking about? So I'm like, no, you're just, you know, whatever. And she just kept pushing me. And then I thought, well, I'm going to Google the book now. What is it? It has 35,000 5-stars on Amazon. It also has 125,000 5-stars on Audible. Now, the Bible doesn't even have that. I could not figure out why this book was that successful. So I bought the book, the best, and I literally mean the best book I actually have ever read in my life. Now, if the F word offends you, you need this book. And here's why. Chapter 1, he says the F word like 300 times. And I never said the F word ever growing up. It was a huge thing being a Christian. You never say that word. His whole point is, if 4 letters causes you to have an issue, you need to start learning not to give an issue about stuff. And I thought, oh my, it opened up my brain like, okay, this is the best book ever. And so as I started going through it, it really did change the way I saw the world, in that we care way too much about things that are so insignificant. So in essence, the whole world, the whole book is about how to stop caring about small things, or how to stop majoring in minor things. And then it takes a whole personal development angle in a way I've never seen. Like, a lot of us are trying to eliminate the pain, eliminate the challenge, try to find the easiest way out. And he proves beyond a shadow of doubt that is the worst way to live. Like, find the pain and not endure the pain. His question that he asked that I love is, what pain can you enjoy the most? So he talks about an athlete. An athlete has to enjoy the pain to be a professional athlete. The rest of us are trying to eliminate the pain to get by. He goes, well, you'll never have anything. You'll never be anything. So the whole point is, what's your favorite pain? And enjoy that pain as much as you possibly can to get what you want. And I thought, oh, I love this. It's profound. That's amazing. It's actually funny because I just remembered that I had that book and I lent it to somebody and they still have it. So I got to track them down and get it back now. Honestly, I bought 5 and started handing them out. And it's funny. The reason I haven't made a post about it is because of the F words on the cover. And I thought, so many of my friends, they're not going to like this. And thinking, that is the whole point of the book. If you are caring that you're like, I'm purposely not posting about this book because I'm afraid it's going to offend somebody. I'm like, that's the whole point of the book. Like, why are you so afraid of offending somebody? If that book is the best book you've ever read and it changed your life, what the hell's wrong with you for not sharing it? I'm like, now I got to share the book. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. I mean, we can even just cut this segment out and I'll just share it all over Facebook if you want to do that. Perfect. I'll post that. I'm like, here's the deal. The whole story. Here's the deal. Yeah. Exactly. I love it. So, Woody, I know you do have a hard stop in about 2 minutes, so we got to run. Real quick, you gave me 3 options of giveaways. I'm doing a giveaway right after our show ends. Did you want to do those as 3 separate giveaways, or did you want to do one giveaway for all 3? Do one giveaway only. You choose which one. So either the ebook, the Audible book, or the 25-minute training on Drive. For the rest of you guys who are watching, if you want to get the Drive book, go to drivesellsbook.com. Drivesellsbook.com. It will give you all 3 gifts, or it's 4 gifts, all 3 gifts for free when you buy the book. If you go to Amazon, you won't get the gifts at all. But Drive Sales Book, you get the physical book, you get the Audible, you get the ebook, and a 25-minute training with me to walk you through Drive. And by the way, that training, so cool. I love that training so much. That was definitely good stuff. It brings so much clarity, in my opinion. Yeah. It makes sales, in my opinion, easy. I think it's something that everybody can learn, and I absolutely love it. Woody, on that note, what do you want to leave our guests with before you roll today? My favorite saying is our family motto: do good, be good. Be happy in the world. Just do good, be good. Just do what you need to do for you and for those around you. And in that process, we all change the world. I love it. Woody, this has been great, man. I'm so excited, so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here. For everybody who's with us, hang out. Stay here. Woody's got to roll. He's got important things to do. He's got to go change the world. But for everybody who's here, stay here, because right after Woody goes, we're doing our giveaway live.
on this show. So Woody, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Fred. Appreciate you.
You got it. Talk to you. Hang out, guys. All right. So this is so freaking cool. I am so excited. Michael's here. He's saying thank you. If everybody's here, stay here. Hang with us. So this is where I'm changing this show up a little bit. This is something that I'm going to start doing a little bit more frequently because this is so cool. So let me rearrange everything here. Bear with me for a second. And Woody just said, we are freaking rock stars. So he was super excited to be here. I'm glad everybody's here. Now, here's what happened. So for those of you that don't know what's going on right now, I offer branding packages to day one entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. So basically the way that this works, all this stuff that you see, this background behind me, this logo up in the corner here, I can't even point the right way, that way right there, right up there, all these different things that I've figured out how to do, how to create logos, how to build websites, how to, create social media kits, to create two things for people, to position you as an expert and an authority in your field, and create consistency and clarity for who you are and what you do. So no matter where somebody finds you on the internet, they know exactly who you are and what you do. And I've put everything together inside of one package. So instead of having to track down a web designer and a developer and an engineer and a graphic designer and an artist and all these different people and a logo maker and all these different people, it's a one-stop shop. Just come here. I'll put it all together for you. I got a whole team that runs this, that puts it all together. And this is a package that, frankly, is a high-ticket package. I sell this for $5,000. But I decided I want to give one away. I want to do this for somebody special. It's the start of a new year. It's a brand new year. And I just wanted to give this away. So what I did was I had people submit. They submitted these applications on a sheet to be part of this giveaway. And I got 29 people who actually submitted. So let me move all this stuff around here for us so we can figure this all out. So let me share my screen real quick and show you how this works. So these are the people. So as you can see, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and first person's, Kim is there, and then we have Amy. And then if we scroll through it, right, you can see all the different people, Tamisa, Frank, Mary, Elaine, Alvin, all these different people on this list. And everybody's numbered. So it starts with 2, right? Starts with number 2, and it goes to all the way down to number 30, right down here. So from 2 to 30. So what I've done, let me show you this. This is so cool. You're going to love this. Now, check this out. We got a little spinner action going on here. So here's how the spinner-rooney is going to work. So when I click on this, it's going to spin. Let me actually make it full screen. Well, actually, first, let me show you how it works. So when I click on it, it's going to give us a spin. It's going to play some music for us. It's going to be an awesome thing. Let me make myself bigger here. There we go. So when I click on it, it spins, it plays some music for us, and then whatever number it lands on, all I'm going to do is I'm going to correlate that number to the Excel spreadsheet, and I'll show you on screen. And that person, whatever number that person is, becomes the winner at that point. They'll win the giveaway, and they'll get this $5,000 branding package assembled for them absolutely free. But then we're going to spin it again. We're going to spin it twice. And on the second spin, I'm giving away one of Woody's offers. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you which one you want, the ebook, the audiobook, or the live sales training that Woody does. And you can pick any of the 3. So we got 2 giveaways today, one for Woody's training and one for my $5,000 business branding package. So let me make this full screen. Let's go back to sharing the screen here. It's a little small. There we go. Is everybody ready? Are you ready? Right? Jason said he needs that spinner app. You definitely do, man. I'll show you how it works and how to use it because this is super freaking cool. All right. I hope everybody is ready to do this. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Oh. Number 22, you are the winner. Let's see who this is. Who's number 22? All right, let me bring it up on screen. Oh, number 22 is right over here. Mr. Robert Marish, you have won, Rob Marish. Let's give Rob a hand, everybody. Oh, yeah, this is super cool. So, Rob Marish, you win a $5,000 branding package absolutely free. I'm going to be contacting you. In fact, I'm actually going to send you a text message right after this show is over because you just won a $5,000 branding package, my friend. Now, on that note, we got another spin that we need to do. Way to go, Robert. Right? Marisol's giving you a round of applause. They're all clapping for you out there, Robert. But guess what? We have one more winner to announce. Now, remember, Woody has 3 offers. He has 3 offers. He has his ebook of this book right here. Let me make myself bigger again. Of this book right here, Drive Sales. So he has an ebook version that you can receive, which, by the way, like I said throughout the show, this is one of the greatest books I ever read. He also has the audiobook available as a giveaway as well. And then he also has a sales training where he does a video explainer of this book, right? So it's basically this sales training video that he does in there, and you can pick whichever of the 3 you want. You can only have one of the 3, but you get to pick among those 3. And one more time, way to go, Robert. Congratulations. Woohoo. Robert, congrats. Congrats to Robert once again. I'm so glad to have all these people here. I'm so excited that you're with me. Let's do one more giveaway before we call it a night. How does that sound, everybody? Who's ready? Who's ready? Are you ready? You ready out there? I gotta wait to see. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some readies in the comments. Let me know who is ready to go for this next giveaway. Nobody's ready. How can nobody be ready? What's going on here? You were all ready a minute ago. This is for any one of Woody's offers. Ready, set, and here we go. Oh, snap. We got a winner, number 27. Let's see who number 27 is. All right, we got to close that out. We got to exit this, and then we got to come down here, bring this up. 27. 27 is Mr. Larry Steinhaus. So we got Robert Marish won my $5,000 branding kit, and Larry Steinhaus won one of Woody's offers. So it's either an audiobook, it's either a ebook, or it's a live sales training, whichever one he wants to win. I'll be reaching out to Larry, letting him know that he is a winner for today. Apparently, everybody likes this spin-a-rooney that we got going on here. So Carrie said this wheel is awesome. And Marisol said, congrats, Larry. So we got 2 awesome winners. Robert Marish won a $5,000 branding package. Larry won one of Woody's offers, whichever one he wants. And that is it for today's show, everybody. Carrie said that lucky devil. Carrie knows Larry Steinhaus pretty well, and so does Wendy. Go, Larry. So that is it for today's show. I hope everybody had a blast. I know I did. This giveaway was super cool, super fun, and I'm definitely going to be doing it again in the future. So stay tuned. Stay in touch with what I have going on. And as always, if you have any questions, just text me right over here. If you text this number, 215-596-1515, that is my direct cell phone number. It goes right to my cell phone. Actually, it's not my team. It's not any of my assistants or anything like that. It's my number. It's a business line that I have that comes right to my phone. You can text me anytime that you'd like. How about a spin to get on the show with me? No more giveaways for today. We'll do giveaways later on. If you want to get on the show, though, by the way, Michael, so if you go to makemoneyandhavefun.com, if you're interested in being a guest on this show, just go to makemoneyandhavefun.com. You'll see a tab on there that says show. You'll see a bunch of different tabs. One of them says show. Click on that, and there's actually a place to apply to be interviewed on this show, to be a guest on this show. So if that's something that you want, just head over there, click right on there, fill out the form to apply, and you will be good to go at that point. So on that note, Wendy said, great show. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. On that note, I will see you all again very, very soon. Have a good one.